I am so happy to have the amazing Long here with me. I know it's amazing. I didn't I can't even imagine how much he cost for a half an hour of time now, but he's everywhere and the most positive person I know. So thank you, Larry.
Jan, thank you. I'm happy to be here. Oh my goodness, it's an honor, a privilege, and my pleasure because I love what you're doing. Sales and leadership with heart. That's where it starts. Love it.
Yeah, you got to bring the heart to everything you do because it's got to be all about your why and how you can help others. So I love that. You're everywhere. You are everywhere, and it's amazing. And I'm so happy to see you. I remember, we met like it was like a year ago, and you're like, "Oh, I'm doing this, I'm doing that," and then suddenly it was like, boom, it's Larry time, right? And so, how did that happen?
Oh, good. Jan, your guess is as good as mine. I got to pinch myself each and every day because I'll be honest with you. I'm blessed. I'm so blessed and just fortunate for every opportunity. And I'm on a mission. I'm really a man on a mission to inspire and positively impact 10,000 individuals this second part of the year from July 1 to December 31st. And I just got off of a session with a great team over at Outreach, their SDRs, little kickoff. And last week I was talking to Hootsuite. And I mean, these opportunities are just amazing. And I'm just fortunate to have them. So I'm keeping that at my core and at my focus, and everything else just seems to fall into place.
10,000 people. So how many have left to inspire? Like 5?
No, a whole heck of a lot. And I'm working with a coach because that number is daunting. And we just wrapped up July, and I was at 1.5%. So I've got a long ways to go.
Okay.
I said, Coach, how am I going to get it? Her name is Kristen Frady. She said, you big dummy, it's not going to be linear. It's going to be lumpy. Right now you're here, but soon it's going to bump up. And it's going to bump up some more. So I'm still waiting for those bumps. So anyone who's listening, let me know if you got a bump for me.
Right. Well, hopefully a lot of people come in here and be inspired by you here. Right. That's what I'm hoping. Because when I started to notice you everywhere, I was like, I need to catch up with Larry. And the easiest way for me to catch up with people is invite them on LinkedIn Live. So, but, I love everything you're doing. And when I thought about, who is the most positive person I know, there was no doubt in my mind. Right. And so tell me, and everyone who's joining us, if you have any questions for Larry, please share them. He's here and I'm so blessed to have him here. Right. But tell me, how do you keep the joy every day?
Yeah, and it's one of those things. I'm human, so I'm not happy 24/7. I wish I was, but I can tell you that more times than not, it's a choice. For me, it's a intentional, it's just a conscious choice. And we all have that ability when we wake up. We can go down this path and say, everything is terrible. Woe is me. We can look at it kind of like the glass is half empty. For me, I choose that the glass is full and I'm blessed. Now, does that mean that bad stuff doesn't happen? Of course not. Of course not. But it's how you deal with it. And I had a great colleague. He was a former rep of mine who said, hey, Larry, he came and talked to my team. His name is James Babb. He said, hey, Larry, in every situation, what I encourage you to do is look for the good, the great, and the wonderful.
That's amazing.
And that's every situation. It could be bad. Like one of my reps went into a snowbank and he said, hey, Larry, I'm glad to hear Mr. Jamie's message because the good was I got exercise. The great is that I got a good night's sleep in a hotel. And the wonderful is I didn't have his wife now and his dog in the bed, pretty much throwing them bows, kicking them out of bed. He said, the good, the great, the wonderful, it's all good, baby, baby.
Wow. So that it's really changing your perception, right? Finding the moments of gratitude, right? Like what's the lesson learned or like flipping the script, right? So something's happened. What's the learning opportunity? What's the, that's an interesting way of looking at it. I always took the Dale Carnegie sort of like how to eliminate worry is like, so what's the worst possible outcome and how can I improve upon it so that I just like overcome it, right? I already have a plan. When you have a plan, you feel in control.
That's right.
And but that's an interesting, I'm going to have to use that.
Good, great, wonderful. And like you said, kudos to Beck Holland for flipping the script and really changing your perception. Ooh.
Right? That's awesome. So that's exactly what you do. You're having a bad day. You're just good, great, wonderful.
Yeah. How can I learn? What's the lesson that's going on? You either win or you learn. Ideally, we win and we learn, but we don't always win. It's as my 7-year-old daughter would say, it's not all rainbows and sunshine. Life is a 4-letter word, and life will throw you for some twists, some turns, some ups and downs on a Tuesday. I mean, it's Taco Tuesday. You can't be upset on a Taco Tuesday. Yesterday was a marvelous Monday. Wednesday is a wonderful. I mean, I can keep going. Come on, Jen. Don't get me rolling.
Oh, you had me at Taco Tuesday. We've got Greg Gonzalez, who's joined us. 2 amazing people right here. Excited to tune in for this one. Thank you for joining us, Greg. Yeah. And then we've got the amazing Richard Harris, the good, the great, and the wonderful.
Love Richard.
I do too. I don't think he's ever joined me before. So thank you. It's nice to see you, Richard. One of my favorite Dale Carnegie concepts, Jen. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Dale Carnegie. I did that early in my career. And a lot of it, like that golden book of like the way to win friends and influence people, kind of just stuck.
Yeah.
And so I did it, I want to say going on 15 years ago now, but I still have my golden book around here somewhere that if I'm like in a moment, like where I'm not sure what to do, I'm like, let me look at the Dale Carnegie rules. Right.
I love it. Here. I love it. There's one thing, Jen, that I got to put in there for anyone listening. There's a saying, I think it's Jim Rohn, who says, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So I encourage everyone to look to your left, look to your right, and think about who are you spending time with. If you're with negative Nancy's and negative Nellies, chances are you're going to be negative. If you're around people that inspire, people that have that perception, and it's not being unrealistic. I mean, my wife skews towards kind of the negative, but being around me, she now skews towards the positive. And there's times when I'm going down that path and she's like, oh, no. Oh, no. You remember when you said? I'm like, thank you, baby. That's what I needed. That's what I need in my life.
Well, and there's no doubt. I mean, your energy is contagious. So when I saw the chief energy officer, I was like, yeah, that is really, that's really clever. You know, I was like, man, and that describes you perfectly.
Oh, no doubt. I certainly try. And I've been energetic. I grew up playing baseball, and that allowed me to get the wiggles out, get my energy out, to hit a little baseball and run around the bases. Oh, it just gets me inspired and hyped just thinking about it. But each person has to find what's your jam, kind of what's your motivation. My motivation is my 2 kids, my beautiful wife, the legacy of my father who passed 5.5 years ago, just making sure that I pass along his legacy of giving. And that's what motivates me each and every day when I hit those tough times, when it's like, ooh, free 99 ain't going to keep the lights on. How am I going to figure this thing out? It's like, I got to dig deep. I got to make sure I channel my inner greatness, my inner excellence, and keep other people at the focus. It'll all work out.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, that reminds me of that, the Go Giver, right?
Yes,
where you're giving.
Bob Berg. Yep.
Yes. Bob Berg, where you're, you know, like if you're just giving, the world just works out, the karma, right?
That's right. And there's a tangible thing that you can do to be a go giver. It's called the hashtag 3-minute challenge. Every day, all it takes is 3 minutes for you to find someone in your Rolodex. For the millennials out there, that's the contacts in your phone. But essentially, take 3 minutes to put your thinking cap on and think about how can you surprise and delight. And one of your listeners, Vicky, she actually surprised and delighted me. I was just in Atlanta, and I didn't know this was coming. She got me this beautiful positivity. it put a big old smile on my face. Now, for me, I'm going to return the favor because I know Vicky is all about joy. So she doesn't know what it is, but it's going to be something that really inspires her joy. If you do that each and every day, and it's easy. You can just send a picture, you can send a meme, a GIF, a GIF, and just let people know, hey, I was thinking about you. You're making deposits. You're giving with no expectation of getting anything back in return. It works wonders.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I loved about the Go Giver book, right? Is that you're just giving, right? And that when you give, it comes around. So that's amazing. So you're a keynote speaker. You're impacting all these people. You have no idea how this all happens. You have to have some sort of clue, right?
I've been working on my craft as I guess you could call it a free note speaker. I've been speaking for free for years, which it's all good. I always had a full-time job in sales, software sales leadership, and opportunities would present itself. Hey, Larry, can you come speak at our sales kickoff? Hey, Larry, can you come speak to our organization? The answer was always yes. I'd love to help. I met a coach in 2018 who said, Larry, you did 9 corporate engagements and you didn't make a dime. I said, yes, sir. He said, respectfully. And when someone says respectfully, there's a doozy coming behind. He said, respectfully, are you stupid or are you dumb? I said, whoa, you don't know me like that. Don't be calling names. He said, nah, when I do corporate engagements, they write me a check and there's a few zeros at the end, if you know what I mean. I said, well, hey, do you, boo-boo? I get a full-time paycheck. I'm not doing this to make money. Well, that was 2018. 2019 came. I did more corporate engagements, didn't make a dime. And my wife in December 2019, she said, hey, baby, I love you, but look in the mirror. You tell everyone else to pursue their dream and their passion. You're faking the funk. You're not pursuing your dream. What's up with that? I said, ooh, you got me. I said, I'm scared. I had a baseball academy, baseball, softball academy that failed, and I was just gun shy. And she said, you must not know about me. I got you. So we went into plan mode, and that was when COVID hit, but we still kept it rocking and rolling. I had my first paid engagement, St. Patrick's Day, March 17th of 2020. I'll never forget it. And we've been rolling ever since. And March 26th of this year, I went full time. Just hashtag too blessed to be stressed.
But that's amazing. And so would you say it's the positivity and that go-giver mindset? Because, I do the free speaking thing too, right? And I had my first paid engagement. But I think there's no doubt about the joy you bring to others, right? The amount of networking. There's nowhere you could go, between Clubhouse and all the places where you're not going to run into Larry Long Jr. That's where you're everywhere. And so how do you find time to do all of it? But also besides committing to helping people, how did you reach that next level to go?
It's from free to fee. It was really, I hate to say it's simple, but it was just asking. And I'm still working through. I'm working with a coach. I'm working through asking for what I'm really worth, my value, because I can't speak for anyone else. There's that fear, that uncertainty and doubt in the back of my mind. And there's a little voice. Actually, it's a loud voice. It's me. I talk more trash to myself than I would. Sometimes I'm playing rude to myself, which is not good. I talk more negative to myself than I would ever talk to anyone else, than I would ever let anyone talk to me. And I'm working through that. I'm working through believing in and really trusting in my heart that, hey, you do add value. And when you add value, it's okay to ask for value back. There's nothing wrong. It doesn't make you grimy, slimy. You're still able to impact. Now you can impact more people by doing it. So it's just really been, Jen, knock on wood, I've been blessed with so much love inbound. I'm working with my coach now on an outbound strategy, which I've been in sales for so long. She said, hey, let's plan in case the inbound start to taper off. Let's just start planting seeds. So we're working the plan, working the process to make sure that we're in a position to impact 10,000 plus. I mean, 10,000. I'm now believing I can hit that number and then a whole lot more by the end of this year.
Yeah, no, I have no doubt. And I think it's awesome that you're everywhere and that people are reaching out and that you have the inbound. I find it surprising though that you have that imposter syndrome thing. Like I have that as well. Like I'm my own worst critic. I know it. Like I speak more unkindly to myself than pretty much anybody else, right?
That's right.
And like, so you're just committed to getting past that, or do you have any special things that you do that really allow you to just say, wait a second, stop?
Yeah, it's so I do have a brag book. It's not a physical book, but it's a conglomeration, a compilation of just some of the accomplishments, some of the referrals that are on LinkedIn, just things that when I doubt myself, I can go back and it boosts me up that, hey, you do have value. You do add value. You're making an impact. Believe in yourself. And then I've got pictures of my father all around. My dad, he's had one of the largest impacts on my life. My mother and my father, but my father's gone. He's gone physically, but he's still with me. And it's just honoring his sacrifice, honoring everything that he did for me, making sure that I pass that along to others. So it's when I put it in that frame of reference, we talked about perspective. I can't be scared. Like it's like, hey, you've come this far. Ain't no stopping us now, in the words of McFadden and Whitehead. There's some millennials that are like, who's that? But some of my old heads are like, yeah, McFadden and Whitehead, ain't no stopping us now. That's a great point right there, Richard. Thank you. Make sure
all right.
on the left side of the decimal. Gotta love it. Gotta love it.
No self trash talk, Larry. None. Gotta balance. Great stuff on Larry and Jen. That's awesome. Thank you for joining us in a rut. And I needed to hear this today. Great stuff. Well, and Keith, I'm sorry in a rut. We got to think about the good, the great, and the wonderful, right? Because I think that's pretty amazing. Like instead of like the strategy that I've taken with the Dale Carnegie stuff of thinking about, what's the worst possible thing that could happen and improving upon it and then feeling in control of the situation. Finding gratitude in the moment, I think, is very powerful.
It is. It's so powerful. When you focus on everything that's wrong and not right, it's easy to get into a rut. When you look at it and really the little things, the quote unquote little things are really the big things. And I like to do an exercise. I just did it with the team earlier today. When you look at there's 8 buckets. There's 7 F's: faith, family, friends, fun, finance, fitness, philanthropy. I know how to spell it. I spell phonetically and frenetically. I know it's a PH. And then career. You look at those 8 buckets and you prioritize. What's your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? And then you do a self-assessment. Where am I on a scale of 1 to 10? Honestly, I talked to a group of CEOs in Chicago. One of the CEOs said, hey, Larry, I'm a 2 when it comes to fun. I'm no fun for my family. I'm no fun for my colleagues, my employees. I know that I need to do something to get better. But when you think about what can you do to take those numbers and increase them, it's absolutely amazing. To prioritize, stack rank, and then think about the actions you can take to up level. Woo! Sky's the limit.
Well, and of course, it evolves too. Different stages in your life, they're going to have different priorities. I mean, I think family is always a number one. But me, I've got my kids too, and they're my why, right? And my family. So Vicky says here, I believe that everyone experiences imposter syndrome from time to time. And I would agree with that. I think, sometimes it's worse for me than others, right? Yeah. But it's always that stuff that gets us out of our comfort zone that allows us to like grow as people, right? That's right. I remember like the first time I went live on LinkedIn, I was like, oh my gosh, right? And like, I'm going to run out of things to say. And I brought a friend so that I have someone to talk to. Right. And I still have only gone on by myself like once. Right.
Wow.
I always have someone with me. You always notice that. Right.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Right. That's it. Exactly. But, you know, I do webinars and things like that where it's just me. So what's the big deal? So,
I have a similar story, Jen. So I was doing my midweek, midday motivational minute where I would record it, just selfie video on my iPhone. I got approved for LinkedIn Live and I said, oh, I'm going to give this a shot. Well, I got nervous the night before. I was practicing and practicing. So when you go live, my wife was outside of the door. She was praying, please let someone show up. Please don't let them go. When you go live, no one shows up because there's a delay. So I went live and I'm like, is this thing on? Is anyone out there? Hello? And it took a few seconds for people to start to pop in. And I was like, whoa. And my wife was like, thank you.
well,
around the imposter syndrome, I heard a story. I don't know if it's true. I got to fact check it. But there was a gentleman who was at a swanky party. And he was by the piano and he told this other gentleman, he was like, I don't know how I got here. That gentleman said, I don't know how I got here either. It turned out that gentleman was Neil Armstrong, the first man to the moon. So if Neil Armstrong, who's been to the moon, suffers from imposter syndrome or wondering how in the world did I get invited to this party, it shows you that there's no one who's immune to it. Now, there's people who mask it, who are able to kind of fake it till they make it, but I'm keeping it real. I struggle. I'm challenged with it really on a daily basis, and it takes work. At least for me, it takes work to be able to overcome that every single day.
Well, and I think, I mean, there's no point in faking it. You know, people connect with the stuff that makes us more human, right?
That's right.
You know, nobody's got it all figured out at every minute of every day. And if you did, then what would be the like fun in overcoming something if you had everything all figured out all the time?
That's right.
So I think there's a lot of value in that, like the success, the win after you've gone through something and you're like, I nailed it. Yes, right? It happens. I was nervous. I did it. It was amazing. And I feel really good about having achieved it. Right. And, you know, without the nervousness, you don't have that achievement feeling of like, yes, yeah.
That's right. Right now is the perfect example with the Olympics going on. And I've had the opportunity in 1996. My father worked for Department of Veterans Affairs. We went to the Paralympics in Atlanta. You talk about inspiring. You talk about motivating and encouraging these amazing athletes representing their country, just going through adversity. You think about it, you lose a limb or limbs and you're still competing at that level. Absolutely amazing. It really changes your perspective, at least changes my perspective that, hey, anything is possible.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's amazing. So let me ask you, you know, we're talking about like achieving things and there's this trend going on, right? Tom Boston over at Sales Loft, you know, he got his promotion to social evangelist, right? Which is amazing. I was like, oh my gosh, he's doing TikTok videos and he's like on LinkedIn all the time. That's like his job now. That's amazing. But then I saw like the one for Vidyard pop up and I'm like, so what's going on? Do you think this is like the future of sales?
I would say that it's the past, the present, and the future. I think folks are starting to wise up. And I've had some conversations with some larger organizations that realize the power in social media as a channel, as a path to connect, to make true connections. So I think we're going to see more and more, if you know what I mean, of folks that are on the various channels, whether it's LinkedIn being the sandbox, whether it's Clubhouse, who knows what that's going to hold, whether it's TikTok. I tried to tick and talk, and my son told me that my dance moves were outdated, so he booted me off of TikTok, whether it's IG and Reels, whether it's Facebook, I mean, you name it, tweet, whether it's Twitter. I think we're going to see in uptick. And we're going to start to see some innovation on how organizations leverage the channels through their people.
Well, yeah, because I think that's what it's about. It's about the people, not necessarily the corporate brands. That it's the people that bring that authenticity and the real, right? So Heidi says, great story about Neil Armstrong. I was at a conference with Michelle Obama, and she said she suffers from imposter syndrome. I was like, wow, if she does, I won't beat myself up. Well, yeah, I mean, and Heidi also says, for me, it's about overcoming limiting beliefs. I often do an exercise to reframe some of my limiting beliefs that contribute to not feeling enough.
I love it.
And that is an excellent tip. You know, like when you see a job role you want and you decide, you know, I'm not enough. Like, I'm not qualified enough. I don't have this. And, you know, taking a chance, you know, and getting out there out of your comfort zone and putting yourself out there, it takes some bravery.
Big time. And I was talking to Melissa Murray Bailey, who's the sales leader over at Hootsuite. And they have a saying, GIAT, G-I-A-T, give it a try. Give it a try. It's kind of like what I tell my kids, try it, you might like it.
But yeah, I mean, what's the worst that's going to happen, right?
That's right.
So Vicky says, being in the right company is a great way to combat imposter syndrome. We have to be there for each other. We have to remind each other of the awesomeness each one brings to the world. We need to be reminded of this more often than we'd like to admit. It's true. You know, there's nothing more satisfying than a colleague saying, you know, you're doing a great job, or, you know, I really appreciate your insights on that, or I am so grateful for your help. You know, that's all really powerful stuff, especially for people who, whether you're starting out in a new role, whether you're sort of not at necessarily the best place. Like, how do you support and inspire others within like organization? I think there's a lot there.
That's it's a key differentiator. How do you inspire your people? Right now, I hear it from a lot of leaders are saying, how can I make sure I'm sewing into my people, into my reps, into my employees? How do I show them that I care? I tell them that I care, but what can I do? And there's a saying, your actions speak so loud, I can't hear what you're saying. And for all too long, companies talked a good game, but their actions didn't mesh very well. Now, I think they call it the great resignation. Now employees are saying, we're not gonna take it. No, don't get me singing. I'm tone deaf, but essentially employees are saying, I want more. I want an organization that cares, and they show me that they care. So it's going to be interesting to see how things shake out. I believe that for each and every one of us that are blessed, that are fortunate, it's our responsibility to pass that along. Like you said, Jen, to let someone know that you appreciate them, to let someone know, hey, you're doing a great job. Keep that up. That doesn't take, it's free. It doesn't take much effort to do that. And it's kind of like those droplets. It's contagious. Think about it. When someone gives you a compliment, now all of a sudden you want to take that baton and you want to pass it on to the next person. Now you've got a chain, and it's just unbelievable. Unbelievable.
So much value in that positive energy of like just passing on the good stuff, right? So it's at 12:29. This half hour goes so fast. But so Larry, what final thoughts do you have for us on the power of positivity?
Yeah, it's your choice.
Yeah,
it's your choice, and I encourage you to be intentional with choosing that path of positivity. It's just like negativity is your choice. It's your choice. Why not go down this path? Why not give it a try? You never know. I've heard that oftentimes folks, when the door closes, they stay focused on that closed door, that they miss out on this window of opportunity that's wide open. It's just waiting for you to stop fixating on the closed door and turn to that opportunity. So I just encourage each and every one of your listeners to make the choice to be positive. It's your choice.
That's awesome. And that's a really excellent tip. I mean that, and I really also love the good, great, and wonderful, right?
That's right.
That was also really an excellent thing. Thank you so much for joining me. You know,
thank you. I appreciate you hosting me. I love what you're doing. I encourage you, Jen, to keep what you're doing, just leading the way. Sales leadership with heart, just absolutely amazing. Keep it up.
Well, thank you so much. So next week, I'm actually taking a week off because I'm gathering some women together to plan something epic for Equality Day. Equality Day is like August 26th, and then we're going to do an evening thing. And I'm getting the amazing group of ladies that I'm getting together. Just you wait and see. We're going to be talking about equality. But thank you, everyone. And I'll be back the week after, and we'll pick up the conversation on sales and leadership with heart. Thank you. Thank you, Larry.
Thank you, Jen. Peace.